Mexico is home to some of the world's biggest secrets and richest histories. From the Mayans to the oceans themselves, the landscape is filled with the wonderful, the magical, and the ominous, all at the same time. Starting with a strange discovery made by archaeologists involving a secret temple. The Temple of the Plumed Serpent is believed to be 1,000 years old. An ancient pyramid has hidden this secret Aztec temple for over 800 years. Only recently, after a severe earthquake revealed its location, were archaeologists able to locate this remarkable discovery. Inside, they found dozens of intricately carved statues. These bizarre statues referenced ritual practices in the worship of strange creatures. Could this be yet another example of ancient aliens visiting humans hundreds of years ago? Archaeologists believe the temple dates back to 1150 and was constructed by the Tlahuica people, Aztecs living in central Mexico. After the earthquake struck, Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History used radar scanning equipment to check for structural damage and determine if it was still safe for tourism and study. The scan revealed the temple, and researchers quickly began working on the discovery. But moving on, you've seen countless photos of stunning Mexican architecture, those beautiful pyramids and temples of the Aztecs who are now a lost civilization. Well, one recent discovery at Chichen Itza has left scientists baffled. The ancient civilizations of humanity were far smarter than we can imagine. Even experts today are baffled at how these people pulled off some of the remarkable feats that they did. Not only is the construction of Chichen Itza itself impressive, but the genius architects included a plethora of secrets only recently revealed. The Temple of Kukulkan is considered one of the most visually striking structures in Chichen Itza, but perhaps its most intriguing characteristic isn't visual at all, but acoustic. It's true, clapping at the base of the Mayan pyramid creates an acoustically engineered echo that closely resembles the chirp of a bird. Do it repeatedly or in a group, and the echoes will sound like a chorus of creatures singing. It's one of those tricks tour guides use to impress visitors, but it's no gimmick. Acoustic experts have studied it and have been fascinated by the chirp ever since it was first recorded by an acoustic engineer in the 1990s. Thus far, no one has been able to prove if the architects designed it with a specific echo in mind or if it was accidental. Acoustic engineers say the sound is too precise to be accidental, but nothing is impossible. Sticking to the theme of mysterious discoveries, up next we have the Alta Vista petroglyphs. Along a vital river located in Nayarit, Mexico, lies a collection of enigmatic stone carvings known famously as the Alta Vista petroglyphs. Among the engraved ancient pictures are haunting yet powerful images, including eye designs resembling spiral vortexes, ferocious creatures, and a crying face. These and other revered stones stand proud in the river itself. Though the exact date of their creation is unknown, these petroglyphs are estimated to be one of the oldest ever discovered, ranging in age to thousands of years. The people who created them are known as the throat cutters. Some of the etchings are spread out with colors. Color, however, seems to play a role in their most important images, like God's eyes. Flawed signage posted here and there tells a disjointed story of the site that lacks many answers. The petroglyphs, however, serve as a form of perspective that existed long before the documented Spanish enslavement and eventual annihilation of the people through mistreatment and disease. According to experts, the petroglyphs are an attempt to connect with the supernatural deities that control the seasons. There are over 50 known Alta Vista petroglyphs, though others likely remain undiscovered. But moving on, archaeologists in 2015 made a shocking discovery that left many stunned and scratching their heads. In an alley just off Cinco de Mayo Road in Puebla, Mexico, there's a doorway that leads to an underground network reminiscent of an entrance to a subway. However, there are no subways. These entrances instead lead to a recently discovered secret beneath the city, a complex tunnel system connecting a fort with the city of Puebla. The subterranean tunnel system is estimated to date back to 1531, but wasn't unearthed and opened to the public until 2016. It had been concealed and covered for decades, and the archaeologists who eventually unearthed it discovered all manner of antiques in the mud. Today, the tunnels operate as a museum and also serve as a citywide street. But moving on, did you know that Mexico is home to the world's largest mural? Murals are one of humanity's staples of artwork around the globe. For some odd reason, the age-old technique captivates human attention. The latest and possibly the largest in this art form is a mural of an entire neighborhood atop the hills in central Pachuca, known as the Cubitos and Palmita neighborhood. These areas are known for sparse public infrastructure and poor living conditions. In fact, the infrastructure is so sparse that the houses furthest up the hills can only be reached on foot by winding through the many sidewalks. Thanks to an amazing collective of artists spearheaded by the Mexican government, the Nos Mueve Paz project, or the We Are Moved by Peace project, set out to address and reduce crime rates in the area, and did so with spectacular results. Not only did the crime rate drop, but the residents were more inspired to contribute to their neighborhood, resulting in an overall major bump in positivity, all through the power of art. This just goes to show the mystical power art holds over the human conscience and subconscious. But up next, we have another creepy entry on this list. You may know of or have heard that Puerto Vallarta's bustling seaside boardwalk is a tourist paradise covered in palm trees and local shops. But there's much more to the area than meets the modern eye. Hiding in plain sight along this serene stretch of Mexican paradise is a circle of surreal bronze statues that look more like demons, as if you've walked into a nightmare. Most people walk right past these creations unaware of their origins or likeness. Known by their moniker La Rotonda del Mar, or the Rotunda by the Sea, this terrifying installation was created by Guadalajara sculptor Alejandro Colunga. The 8 bronze thrones, first unveiled in 1996, are positioned at irregular intervals around a stone circle. The sea reaches the very edge of the sculpture. The tall, formless thrones are topped with sea creatures such as an octopus, seahorse, and stingray, which seem to form into the thrones themselves. Many of the chairs are supported by legs that end in claws, or recognizable feet of creatures, making them feel even more bizarre. But up next, there's a bizarre clue that maybe the comic book character Batman wasn't so original after all. Recent evidence suggests the origins of Batman date back to ancient times. This Batman isn't a vigilante billionaire scouring the night fighting crime, but a deity originating from ancient Mayan mythology called Camazotz. It's described as having a humanoid figure with a bat-like nose. To the ancients, this deity was the god of death. The Popol Vuh, a text that covers the history and mythology of death, says that it had the head of a bat and killed its victims by attacking them with its fangs in the neck until eventually decapitating them. Some scholars believe that this is where the creation of the vampire and Dracula himself was born. The death bat was the largest of its kind, with an impressive wingspan of over 20 inches. It's no wonder the vampire and the bat are often so tightly linked in their telling. But up next, divers recently made a stunning discovery. A group of divers mapped the biggest flooded cave system on the planet, spanning 216 miles. Before these divers braved the depths, the 2 caves were thought to be separate systems. However, they were proven to connect deep within the Earth. The discovery could shed new light on the ancient Maya civilization, which was suspected of having utilized the cave systems in their time. A project was created to study and preserve the subterranean waters within the Yucatan Peninsula. The reported cave stretches a whopping 216 miles and was identified after a months-long expedition, exploring and mapping a maze of dark underwater channels. But finally, this is a place that is like no other, and very few tourists are aware they exist. You see, the Yucatan Peninsula is dotted with monumental relics of the Maya people, whose amazing cities once drew upon an extensive network of sinkholes connected to cenotes. Some of these cenotes were considered of religious importance to the Maya people. As you might imagine, a place reserved for such reverence holds astounding beauty. A cenote is nothing but a natural swimming hole, formed by porous limestone bedrock that collapsed and formed the beneath-the-rock oasis that dots the Mexican landscape. Meaning sacred well in the Mayan language, many cenotes were cherished because of their remarkable ability to retain water despite the intense heat that Mexico is famous for. For the Mayans, this was an indicator of direct divine intervention, and thus was praised and worshipped as such. They've even been discovered, at least according to interpretations based on their ancient cave art, with spiritual and godly beings bestowing upon them the caverns of water we now call cenotes. They were a gift from divinity. Were you aware of any of these recent Mexican discoveries? Do let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.